Absa will list its NewGold exchange-traded fund on the Stock Exchange of Mauritius on the 26th of July. But they're celebrating it already. It's going to be the 5th exchange on which NewGold is listed. Of course, the listing began in Johannesburg back in 2004. Joining us now to explain more from the beautiful island is Vladimir Nedeljkovic, who is Head of Investments at Absa Capital, and Sunil Benimadu, who's the Chief Executive of the Stock Exchange of Mauritius. Perhaps, Sunil, we can kick off with you. I was looking at the value or the market cap of the Mauritius Stock Exchange, and it's at a level of about, 75 billion rands. Would you take into account the whole of the NewGold listing, in other words, the 17 billion that is going after the listing has occurred, which would, of course, push the Stock Exchange of Mauritius up into a new league?
No, in fact, basically, NewGold is introducing initially only about 400,000 securities, which is a block. And that first block will be traded initially. And then if there is a market demand and they feel that there is a need for introducing further blocks of NewGold shares on the Mauritian exchange, they will do so. So initially, the market cap of NewGold, which will be listed, will be only related to the 400,000 securities that NewGold will bring to the market.
And how does something like this happen? Do you approach NewGold and say, we have a gold purchasing or interest in buying gold in Mauritius, or did they come to you?
Well, basically, the Stock Exchange of Mauritius embarked about 3 years ago upon a fundamental reorientation of its development strategy to move away from what historically had been an equity-centric domestic exchange catering for local companies to an internationalized stock exchange platform, a multi-asset class platform. So in that vein, we introduced a number of reforms to our listing and trading platform, and we wanted to open up to new products other than the local products on our exchange. So we came up with rules for ETFs, for global funds, for global business companies, and that's when we met with Absa in one of the training programs of Absa in South Africa, and we initiated the discussions. And then we followed up in Mauritius with other meetings, and now we're in a position to roll out these products. And I think this fits very well with Mauritius's will to become a service platform, an international financial center. And to do that, we would need to increase the gamut of products that are listed and traded on our platform.
Are you expecting retail investors to get involved in the NewGold debentures?
Yes, the product would be open to both institutional and retail individual investors. We are aiming at offering them a new asset class within the existing spectrum of products that are available. And we think that gold, at least a product that is backed by gold, would constitute an interesting asset class and interesting diversification product for them.
So Neil, the reason I ask that is the national sport of Mauritius is horse racing. And we know that the people on the island love to have a gamble. Is that a reflection of the kind of person who engages, or the retail market in particular, who engages on the Mauritian Stock Exchange?
Well, first of all, I think, horse racing is certainly very popular in Mauritius, but I think the national sport is more soccer than horse racing. But in any case, I would say that most of the retail investors that are in Mauritius would necessarily come from people who are looking for investment opportunities other than for, putting their money in deposits, trying to leverage off their savings to obtain returns that would compensate them for the additional risk that they're taking. So it's a quite large spectrum of retail investors cutting across different spheres, different investment objectives that trade on our market.
Vladimir, from your perspective, apart from having a lovely visit to a wonderful part of the world, given that it's winter back home, what attracted you to the Mauritian market to become your fifth area or your fifth exchange on which to list the NewGold securities?
Sure. Well, I mean, as you know, NewGold is the largest ETF in South Africa, and I think we basically, I think the demand that we have in South Africa is probably where it's going to stay. It's going to grow, but we don't expect explosive growth. So our strategy was to expand our offering to other African jurisdictions, and you're right, we've listed NewGold over the years in Botswana, in Nigeria, in Ghana. Mauritius was an obvious place for us. First of all, the market here is quite dynamic. We had very good partners with the exchange who were really trying to do some innovative and interesting stuff. So we also experienced quite a lot of demand, particularly in the institutional market, in the pension fund industry, and asset managers for this type of product. And I think the Mauritian institutional investors have some experience in investing in gold. They can, under the local rules, invest in bullion. So I think it was the right opportunity for us, and I think it's been a journey to get here, but I think we are all very, very happy to be at the point where the product is ready to be launched.
By way of explanation, if you buy 100 shares in NewGold, that's the equivalent of 1 ounce of gold.
That is correct. It is the product is fully backed by physical gold. So we have at the moment slightly more than 42 tons of gold bullion sitting at our custodians in London, and all the securities on all these exchanges are backed by that physical gold.
Earlier, Sunil said that you would be listing 400,000 securities in Mauritius. That's only 4,000 ounces of gold. It seems on the light side. Are you anticipating it could grow?
This is just to start the trading. Basically, the way that process works is we will on the 26th we will open the trading. Demand is going to, as demand happens, we will basically just create more units and bring more units into the market, and that happens on an extremely rapid basis. So we can basically trade, move the stock from the register in South Africa to Mauritius, all in the T+3 settlement cycle.
So Neil, last week we spoke with your Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, and he was telling us about your ambitious plans to become the springboard into Africa. Do you share those on the Mauritius Stock Exchange? Could you perceive that one day your stock market would compete, say, with the big daddy in Johannesburg?
Yes, I perfectly share the vision of the Vice Prime Minister when he says that Mauritius is busy positioning itself as a service platform for Africa and also for other emerging regions of the world. And within the Stock Exchange of Mauritius, we are certainly endorsing that vision, and we've been trying a number of new things over the past 3 years so as to really become a sort of springboard for the listing and trading of African-focused products, for the listing and trading of ETFs. In fact, to give you a very concrete example of how what we're doing fits with what Mauritius is trying to do, we came up about 10 months ago with the setting up of a multi-currency listing, trading, and settlement platform, which is unique in Africa, where from the Stock Exchange of Mauritius, we can today list a product in US dollars, in British pounds, in euros, and in South African rands, trade those products in these underlying currencies, and settle the transactions in the same currency. So basically, the reason why we've done that is we feel that as more and more investors try to diversify to frontier markets, including African markets, they could use eventually Mauritius as the listing and trading platform for that, for the international investor who's US dollar based and who would like to have a place where they can trade African products in US dollar without necessarily having to incur the local currency risk. So that's why we've come up with that platform.
That's interesting, but wouldn't it make sense for the African exchanges to work more closely together? For instance, there's some lovely stocks listed on your market which would appeal to, no doubt, to South African investors, some of the hotel groups, some of the industrial groups, sugar, for instance. Isn't that something that you should also be concentrating on?
Yes, in fact, Mauritius, the Stock Exchange of Mauritius is a member of different associations of stock exchanges within Africa, especially within Southern Africa. It's called the Committee of SADC Stock Exchanges. And we do meet regularly, and we do discuss about ways and means of collaborating, of increasing links between amongst our different markets. And we've been working on a project recently to try to use technology to cross-link the different exchanges so that, members from Mauritius could trade on South African stocks, on Zimbabwe stocks, and members from Botswana, South Africa could trade on Mauritian stocks. And the whole idea behind this initiative is to grow the markets, grow them in size, grow them in terms of the number of players, and stimulate what I call the 4 Ps of the exchange space, namely products, participants, players, and partnerships.